Welcome to this video on paying off debt and building wealth. If you're like most people, you've probably struggled with debt at some point in your life. Maybe you've had credit card balances that seemed impossible to pay off, or student loans that seemed to drag on forever. Maybe you even felt like you were stuck in a financial rut, unable to save any money or build any wealth. Well, we have good news for you. It is possible to pay off your debt and build wealth, and we're going to show you how. In this video, we'll be sharing a simple strategy that can help you get on the path to financial success. Whether you're starting from scratch or you're trying to get out of a tough spot, this strategy can work for you. So if you're ready to take control of your finances and start building a brighter financial future, then let's get started. Understanding your debt. Before you can start paying off your debt and building wealth, you need to get a clear understanding of your debt situation. This means taking stock of what you owe, how much it's costing you, and how it's affecting your overall financial health. So let's start by talking about the different types of debt you might have. There are several common types of debt, including credit card debt, student loan debt, and mortgage debt. Each type of debt has its own set of pros and cons, and it's important to understand the differences so you can make informed decisions about how to manage your debt. For example, credit card debt is usually high-interest debt that can quickly get out of control if you're not careful, but it can also be relatively easy to pay off, especially if you have a good credit score and can qualify for a low-interest balance transfer offer. Student loan debt, on the other hand, is often lower interest debt that can be more difficult to pay off because of its long repayment terms. But it can also be a worthwhile investment if it helps you get a higher paying job or advance in your career. Mortgage debt is a type of debt that most people take on at some point in their lives. It can be a good way to build wealth over time if you're able to make your mortgage payments and the value of your home increases. But it can also be a significant burden if you're unable to make your payments or if the value of your home decreases. Now that you have a sense of the different types of debt you might have, it's important to assess your debt in more detail. This means calculating your total debt, your debt-to-income ratio, and your credit score. These numbers can help you understand how much debt you have, how much of your income is going towards debt payments, and how lenders view your creditworthiness. Once you have a clear picture of your debt situation, you can start prioritizing which debts to pay off first. There are two main methods for doing this: the snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method involves paying off your smallest debts first, while the avalanche method involves paying off your highest interest debts first. Both approaches can be effective, and it's up to you to decide which one works best for your situation. So that's a brief overview of understanding your debt. In the next chapter, we'll be talking about the importance of budgeting and how to create a budget that works for you. Creating a budget. Budgeting might not sound like the most exciting topic in the world, but it's an essential part of paying off debt and building wealth. In fact, if you want to get your finances in order and reach your financial goals, then you need to create a budget and stick to it. But don't worry, budgeting doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. In fact, it can be as simple as tracking your spending, identifying areas to cut back, and setting financial goals. Here's how to get started. First, track your spending. This means keeping track of everything you spend money on, from your rent or mortgage payment to your groceries to your entertainment expenses. You can do this by using a budgeting app or spreadsheet, or by just writing everything down on paper. Next, identify areas to cut back. Once you know where your money is going, you can start looking for ways to save money. This might mean cooking more meals at home instead of eating out, or canceling subscriptions or memberships that you don't use or need. Finally, set financial goals. Once you have a handle on your spending, you can start setting financial goals for yourself. These could be short-term goals like saving up for a down payment on a car, or long-term goals like saving for retirement. Whatever your goals are, make sure they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Smart. Now that you have a budget, the next step is sticking to it. This can be easier said than done, especially if you're used to spending money freely. But there are a few things you can do to stay on track. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account so you're saving money without even thinking about it. Avoid impulse purchases. Impulse purchases can quickly derail your budget, so try to avoid them as much as possible. One trick is to wait 24 hours before making a purchase, so you have time to think about whether you really need it. You get an accountability partner. Having someone to hold you accountable can be a great way to stay on track with your budget. You can find an accountability partner in a friend, family member, or even an online community. By following these steps, you'll be well on your way to creating a budget that works for you and your financial goals. In the next chapter, we'll be talking about the importance of building an emergency fund and how to save for one. Building an emergency fund. Have you ever experienced a financial emergency? Maybe you had a car breakdown, a medical expense, or a home repair that you weren't prepared for. These types of unexpected expenses can be stressful and can put a big dent in your budget. That's where an emergency fund comes in. So why is an emergency fund important? Here are a few reasons. It can prevent you from accumulating more debt. If you don't have an emergency fund and an unexpected expense comes up, you might have to put it on a credit card or take out a loan. This can lead to more debt and more stress. It can protect you from financial shocks. Unexpected expenses can be jarring, especially if you're not prepared for them. An emergency fund can help cushion the blow and give you peace of mind. It can help you avoid financial pitfalls. Without an emergency fund, you might be tempted to make financial decisions that aren't in your best interest, like taking on high-interest debt or selling assets at a loss. So how much should you save in an emergency fund? A good rule of thumb is to save at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. This might seem like a lot, but it's important to have enough saved up to cover your basic needs if you lose your job, have a medical emergency, or experience some other financial shock. To calculate how much you should save in an emergency fund, add up your monthly expenses, rent or mortgage payment, utilities, food, transportation, etc., and multiply that by the number of months you want to save for. For example, if your monthly expenses are $2,000 and you want to save for 6 months, you'll need to save $12,000 in your emergency fund. Now that you know how much you should save, the next step is figuring out where to save it. There are a few options to consider. A high-yield savings account. This is a type of savings account that earns a higher interest rate than a regular savings account. This means you'll earn a little extra money on your savings, which can help it grow faster. Money market fund. A money market fund is a type of investment that aims to preserve capital and generate income. It's generally considered to be a low-risk option, and it can be a good place to store your emergency fund if you're comfortable with a little more risk. A certificate of deposit, CD. A CD is a type of deposit account that earns a fixed interest rate for a set period of time. CDs are generally considered to be a safe place to save your emergency fund, but they're not as liquid as a savings account, so you might not be able to access your money as easily. By building an emergency fund, you'll be better prepared for unexpected expenses, and you'll be able to sleep easier at night knowing that you're protected. In the next chapter, we'll be talking about the importance of investing for long-term wealth building. Investing for growth. We'll get to that in a second. I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. Investing is an important part of building long-term wealth, and it can be a great way to grow your money faster than it would in a savings account. But where do you start? There are many different types of investments to choose from, and it can be overwhelming to figure out what's right for you. Here are a few common types of investments to consider. Stocks. Stocks are a type of investment that allows you to buy shares in a company. When you own stocks, you become a shareholder, which means you have an ownership stake in the company. Stocks can be a good way to earn higher returns, but they also come with more risk than some other types of investments. Bonds. Bonds are a type of investment in which you lend money to a company or government in exchange for interest payments. They're generally considered to be less risky than stocks, but they also tend to have lower returns. Real estate. Real estate is a tangible asset that can be a good way to diversify your investment portfolio. There are several ways to invest in real estate, such as buying rental properties or investing in real estate investment trusts. REIT. No matter what type of investment you choose, it's important to diversify your portfolio. This means not putting all your eggs in one basket and having a mix of different types of investments. Diversification can help reduce risk and increase the chances of earning a return on your investment. So how do you get started investing? One option is to do it yourself by opening an investment account and choosing your own investments. This can be a good choice if you're comfortable doing your own research and have the time to manage your investments. Another option is to seek professional financial advice. This can be especially helpful if you're new to investing or if you have a complex financial situation. A financial advisor can help you create a personalized investment plan and choose investments that are appropriate for your goals and risk tolerance. By investing for growth, you'll be taking an important step towards building long-term wealth and securing your financial future. In the next chapter, we'll wrap up the video and provide some resources for further information or help reducing expenses. By cutting unnecessary expenses, you'll be able to free up more money to put towards your financial goals. But where do you start? Here are a few ways to reduce your expenses. Cut unnecessary expenses. The first step is to take a hard look at your budget and identify expenses that you don't really need. This might include things like subscription services, cable TV, or dining out. By cutting these expenses, you can save a significant amount of money over time. Negotiate lower rates. Another way to reduce your expenses is to negotiate lower rates on your bills and expenses. For example, you might be able to negotiate a lower interest rate on your credit card or a lower insurance premium. All it takes is a phone call or email to ask. Look for free or low-cost alternatives. Finally, you can save money by looking for free or low-cost alternatives to expensive items or services. For example, instead of paying for a gym membership, you could work out at home or go for a run outside. Or instead of buying a new dress or suit, you could shop at a thrift store or borrow one from a friend. By following these tips, you'll be well on your way to reducing your expenses and freeing up more money for your financial goals. In the next chapter, we'll be talking about ways to increase your income and take control of your financial future. Increasing income. By bringing in more money, you'll have more resources to put towards your financial goals. But how do you increase your income? Here are a few options to consider. Look for ways to increase your current income. If you're currently employed, one way to increase your income is to ask for a raise. This can be a tough conversation to have, but it's worth it if you're able to negotiate a higher salary. You can also take on additional responsibilities at work or ask for a promotion to boost your income. Consider changing careers. Another way to increase your income is to consider changing careers. This can be a big decision, but if you're able to find a higher paying job or a career that aligns better with your skills and interests, it can be a worthwhile move. Maximize your income tax refund. Finally, you can increase your income by maximizing your income tax refund. This means taking advantage of tax credits and deductions that you're eligible for, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Child Tax Credit or the Child Tax Credit. By following these tips, you'll be well on your way to increasing your income and taking control of your financial future. In the next chapter, we'll be talking about how to stay motivated on your journey towards paying off debt and building wealth. Staying motivated. Paying off debt and building wealth is a journey, and it's not always an easy one. There will be times when you face setbacks or financial emergencies that can make it hard to stay motivated. That's why it's important to have strategies in place to keep you on track and help you overcome these challenges. Here are a few ways to stay motivated on your journey towards financial success. Overcome setbacks. No matter how well you plan, you're bound to face setbacks along the way. Maybe you'll have an unexpected expense, or maybe you'll lose your job. Whatever the setback is, it's important to stay positive and look for ways to overcome it. This might mean finding a new job, cutting back on expenses, or looking for ways to bring in extra income. But celebrate progress. As you make progress towards your financial goals, it's important to celebrate your achievements. This can be a great way to stay motivated and keep you moving forward. Whether it's paying off a credit card, saving up for a down payment on a home, or reaching your retirement savings goal, it's worth celebrating. Seek support. Finally, don't be afraid to seek support from others when you're feeling stuck or demotivated. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video on paying off debt and building wealth, but the journey doesn't end here. If you're ready to start improving your financial well-being, take action now or check the first link in the description for our ebook. It's never too late to start making smart financial decisions. By following the strategies we've outlined, you'll be well on your way to financial success. But remember, this is a journey and it takes time and effort to reach your financial goals. It's important to stay motivated, stay the course, and keep working towards your goals. If you need help along the way, there are many resources available to you. You can seek out professional financial advice, join a financial support group, or use online tools and resources to help you manage your finances.